Hey, this is Zero Hakathos with Theosophy and Beyond. And once again, I would like to do a book review. This one is for the Black Grimoire of Diabolical Witchcraft. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that. Uh, by Oleander Sky. Now, this is a great book. And to be honest, the only problem I have with this book is that the warnings seem to come after the instructions of how to do stuff. Only problem I have. Usually the warnings come first in books so that people know what they're getting into, but whatever. Like there's a lot of stuff in um, pop culture that shows the pitfalls of getting involved with darker magic. So it is what it is. Other than that, the book is great. The book sets up a whole system of diabolical witchcraft where you can get in touch with spirits. It also lists different herbs and plants that you can use within the practice. And it also has spells that you can put together for a variety of things. It's kind of like a reference book. It has sigils that are non-Solomonic, which the author explains does not bind the spirits that are being contacted. So not all these spirits are ones from the Goetia. So I figured she was just referring to the Goetic spirits that were included within the book. There is also a section that includes tools. And I'm not a big person that uses tools. I like sigils. I do dream work. But one that caught my eye was the witch's rattle. And I can tell you that it does work, even though I didn't follow the instructions. I just made my own intuitively. Works very well. What it does is it kind of, when you shake it, the sound that you create basically opens up a portal, calls the spirits to you, the ones that you have attached to that specific rattle. Okay. I don't do the spells that include, burning a candle or using certain herbs and stuff. I'm not a big herb person or plant person. I did that when I first got started and was doing my healing. But I've kind of phased out of that since I focus more on spiritual healing than physical healing. But the list of plants that are in the book have warnings of which ones are poisonous and which ones aren't, and then what their magical uses are. And that's very well done. So if I were ever to get involved in that, I would have a good idea of how to get back into that. And when it comes to the different spirits, it tells you which plant is connected to which spirit. Now, when it comes to sigils, I love, this is my favorite part of the book, the sigils and the spirits that are included in the book. And the reason why I love it is the author does not just include spirits that are popular within Western magic. I'm assuming it's a she. She includes spirits from around the world, from Asian countries, from South Africa, Slavic spirits, just kind of all over. And one thing I must say is that even for people who are on the left-hand path and who deal with darker spirits, you have to be careful because these are more exotic than the ones that we're used to. AKA, like, for example, the Goetia. The Goetia are used to how Western practitioners are, so they may be easier to deal with. However, these exotic spirits that come from different countries that many practitioners are not going to be used to, it may require more time to get used to their energy and to introduce yourself. So it's always good to have an intermediary spirit that protects you and kind of speaks in your stead. You know, be like, okay, like here's this practitioner. They want to help. They want to work with you. And then have that intermediary spirit be a bridge. These are not nice spirits, not all of them. And because the author isn't using Solomonic sigils, in my mind, you're more likely to get the raw versions of these spirits. So unfiltered, untamed. So you do have to kind of protect yourself. Not necessarily because these spirits are going to be malevolent towards you, but just because the power itself is very intense. And, but other than that, you know, you always have to be wary when you introduce yourself to any new spirits anyway, whether they're helpful or not, because it takes time getting used to how they work. And if you don't try to get used to how they work, then even though they may help you do what you want, they may do it in a way that causes negative things to happen within your life. Okay. So just be careful. This book I would recommend for those who are adept to advance. Yes, beginners can start with this book, but I would recommend for beginners to work with spirits that are more used to a variety of people, which is just the goetic spirits. Okay, if you're gonna be left-handed. These other spirits from Africa and all these other parts of the world, they're a little bit more rough around the edges. Other than that, the book is great. I totally recommend the book. It was worth it. I bought the paperback. I should have bought the hardback because it's something that will get a lot of use, and the paperback will probably wear itself out pretty quickly. So definitely something to have in your library. So thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this review, and keep on practicing.